to talk about a question we get all the time from our viewers right across the country. It's all about the color of your door. Remember, it's the first thing people see coming up to your house. Sharon Grech is here. She's got some tips for us. I'm shocked after all these years that you're not sick of talking about this yet.
No, because it changes all the time. People are more adventurous now, so they paint their doors different colors. So.
I like that, you know, Canadians are coming a little bit out of our shell.
Yes.
And a nice way to do it is by having some fun with your exterior door. People don't mind taking that risk so much these days.
It's the easiest exterior paint project that I have for you, and you get the most bang for your buck, right?
True.
Like you change that door, and it really gives you instant curb appeal. So I wanted to talk about the colors because, as you said, that's the biggest question we always get throughout the spring and the summer.
Yeah.
So really, there's one big decision you have to make is that, are you more traditional? Are you more classic? Is that what you're looking for? Or are you looking for something a little more fashion forward, a little trendier?
Right.
And not everyone will agree with me, but I tend to think for the front door, it's less about the architectural style of the home.
Oh, I was going to ask you that.
I think it's more about your personality. It's such a small area. It's like a tie for a man's suit. It's like an accessory. So you can be a little bit more brave or traditional or classic and have fun with it. So there's over 3,000 colors. I'm going to narrow it down a little bit for you.
All right, thanks. Give us some help, please. Well, which color do you want to start with?
Let's start with red. Now, this is a classic. I'm going to stand right here. You've got Dinner Party. This is Dinner Party. It's a great red. That's what it's called.
Oh, I like
it's all about the name. It's a very classic red. It's rather traditional, and we are seeing brighter reds as well, but I thought this is classic. This has been one of the most popular colors for front doors in Canada and in the U.S.
Right.
Because it works with brick, it works with gray cladding, it works with beige, like it works with everything. So it's vibrant without being over the top.
It's got a subtlety to it, you know, sort of like that gray tone that tones it down a little bit.
Absolutely, Tracy. It's that gray in it that tones it down a little bit. So that's it's a nice classic red. And then, of course, we've got the Brian Gluckstein favorite.
So this doesn't go anywhere. This is it black or is it a charcoal?
This is actually black.
This is black.
It's not an exciting name in our palette. It's black.
It's actually called black.
It's actually called black.
This is my door color.
See, there you go.
Hey,
it's perfect.
It's a classic. It always looks good. There's something about it that just has, like, it's a statement.
It's a statement,
right?
Absolutely. And the thing I find with any color door, but especially black, you want to keep it freshly painted. So you do want it to have that gloss. I've got a high gloss here, and I think that makes it look, you know, it looks perfect. When it gets started, it's like, is it charcoal? Is it gray? You know, is it dirty? So you want to keep it nice and glossy and clean. So black.
Mine is in fact dirty, but thanks for reminding me.
I'll be over.
You know what? Blue is beautiful in all of its different configurations, but I like this one particularly. What do you know what this one's called?
Newburyport Blue.
Oh, nice.
So it's one of the historical colors. So it's like a little bit of a twist on a classic navy. It's a little bit lighter, so it's a little bit more denim-y, so it's a bit more casual. But again, it can look really great with more formal situations or something a little more cottage country.
Now, since you're doing the door in blue, are you doing the garage in blue if you have a garage?
I tend to not. I tend to keep the garage door a little more neutral. Absolutely. When you're doing a color, I would keep that for the front door. Make it special. Make it your statement.
Right.
So we have a few images of colors on, you know, in a house, and I think this is a really fun one. This is Caliente.
Ooh, that's hot, hot, hot.
Isn't that hot? Like it's a hot red. But it shows how red can be a little more fun and fresh, so it doesn't always have to be so traditional. And then we've got the good old black.
Yes.
And this is actually Black Beauty, so there are just as many blacks as there are white. This is Black Beauty. So again, very formal, very classic looking in that scenario. And again, the one thing before we switch over to some more fashion-friendly colors is I wanted to mention the cladding. I went with, I painted my brick with a color called Metropolitan. I used a flat exterior paint, and that tends to go with absolutely anything. So, you know, if you have a gray as your background color, it can really work with any other color you've got. But for the most part, your exterior cladding is fairly neutral, so you've still got that flexibility.
Very nice. And I'm happy you mentioned this because people do get confused. What are you going to do with the trim if you've changed the door, if you have the door color? But it can be different but subtle. So this is nice. Speaking of gorgeous blues.
You know what? And I didn't even show Tracy these ahead of time.
This is nice.
Isn't this gorgeous? So this is Bird's Egg. So it's a very pretty retro blue. It's quite pale, but again, when you put the white, I used White Dove as the trim. So again, I use the same for all of them so you get that little bit of punch against your background color. But I love how this is sort of retro vintage feeling. Again, it can be very It can be very trendy. I was actually inspired by this color for my front door.
Is that what your front door is?
I used Venetian Sky, which is very similar to this, but again, very fun, and the gloss, of course, makes a big difference. So
okay, so this one might surprise people.
Yes.
Look at that.
Whoa.
We're going pink, baby.
So I have seen lots of fantastic pink doors in magazines. I'm not a big pink fan, but I love orange. So I went with Coral Spice. So it's got the pink, it's got the orange, and it's something a little more exciting. And you know what? You can change your paint color every couple of years.
Yes, you
My
can.
husband and I haven't been able to agree on a new door, so I just keep
keeping it the
changing
same.
I just paint it every couple of years.
So keep in mind, when we say colors like this, the pinks and the greens and the blues are good, we're talking about the door, not the brick.
Exactly,
okay?
please.
No.
I don't want to be responsible for that. And this is Brookside Moss. Again, greens and blues, very, very popular. This is not your typical forest green. This has got a little bit more pop. It's a bit more funky.
It is funky.
So again, you know, you can have fun.
You want to see how some more fashionable colors as well. We've got this door, which is a beautiful blue once again.
This is Van Cortlandt blue, very pretty, soft blue. Again, very sort of country fresh.
Yeah, very nice. And then the coral.
Yes, again. So this is coral. This one's Coral Spice.
Yeah.
And again, beautiful white. And it's more traditional, but you got that pop color. So again,
It is.
the architectural style is not as critical.
All the pictures, they've done beautiful things outside of the door, and I think we also need to focus on that, right? Like
You're
that
right.
really does make a huge difference.
That makes the statement. You're right.